Have you ever wondered why, after crossing 60, your nights suddenly feel longer, heavier, and strangely more restless, even if your body feels tired beyond words? What if I told you that the true cause might not be physical at all? That behind every sleepless turn, every sigh in the dark, and every inexplicable awakening at 2 or 3 in the morning, there could be something silently buried deep within your memories? Something you thought you had long forgotten, yet it breathes heavily in the corners of your mind each night. Waiting. Most people assume that restless sleep after 60 is just part of growing older. They blame it on the usual suspects: aching joints, changes in hormones, maybe even the need for more bathroom visits. And while these reasons certainly play a role, they miss a deeper, quieter culprit. Tonight, I invite you to look beyond the surface, because hidden memories, the ones we've suppressed, repressed, or gently pushed away to survive life's harshest winters, have a way of resurfacing, especially when the body slows and the nights grow silent enough for the heart to listen. Before we dive deeper into this journey, I want to take a moment to say, if what you're about to hear resonates with you or reminds you of someone you care about, please consider sharing this video. Often, we don't realize how many others are silently struggling too. Your simple act of sharing might open a door for someone who desperately needs to step through. Now, let's begin. There are 3 hidden ways that suppressed memories quietly disturb our sleep after 60. You won't see them at first. They don't come with flashing signs, but if you know where to look, you can feel their fingerprints all over your nights. First, there's the silent emotional energy trapped within old memories. You see, when we go through painful experiences, losses we couldn't fully grieve, betrayals we tried to brush off, regrets we locked away, we don't just forget. The body stores the emotion like a time capsule, sealed but still very much alive. During the busy years, when work, family, and survival demanded all our attention, it was easy to keep these capsules buried. But as life slows down and external distractions fade, the mind finally has the space to begin opening them. And it often happens during sleep. You might drift off peacefully at first, only to jolt awake at odd hours, heart racing, a nameless sadness or anxiety pressing against your chest. No dream to explain it, no clear thought, just a feeling, as if your soul is whispering, "Remember me." Scientists have found that during REM sleep, our brains process unresolved emotions. And if those emotions are too heavy, too tangled, they can interrupt the cycle, leaving us half awake, restless, and emotionally drained without ever knowing why. If you're still with me so far, it shows you to understand how deep this really runs. And if you feel that pull to keep listening, that's your heart gently nudging you. Because what we're uncovering isn't just about sleep, it's about healing the invisible wounds time tried to hide. Now, the second way suppressed memories steal our rest is even more subtle. It's through the patterns they silently program into our subconscious. Think about it. If you spent years believing you had to stay strong by not feeling, if you taught yourself to move on by bearing hurt, that habit didn't vanish just because you aged. It became part of your mind's nightly choreography. When you close your eyes, your brain isn't just shutting down, it's rehearsing old dances. The stay strong command runs on autopilot, even when you desperately need to relax. That's why so many older adults lie awake, staring at the ceiling, their minds buzzing with worries, regrets, or a strange sense of urgency they can't explain. It's not random. It's the echo of a lifetime spent bottling things up, now replaying itself in the quiet theater of the mind. And unless we gently reprogram those patterns, sleeplessness becomes more than a physical complaint. It becomes a nightly battle with ghosts we thought we had left behind. Before we continue, if you're finding these insights speaking to your own nights, to that quiet ache you've felt but never quite understood, please tap the like button or share this with someone who might be silently fighting their own battles after dark. Sometimes, the most healing thing we can do is simply let someone know they're not alone. Finally, the third hidden link between suppressed memories and restless sleep is the body's own memory of trauma. This may sound strange, But our bodies remember emotional wounds just as vividly as physical ones. When the mind says, "I'm fine," but the heart still holds old fear, grief, or anger, it manifests physically: tight muscles, shallow breathing, a racing heart at midnight. A sense that something is off, even when everything looks fine on the surface. Studies show that unresolved trauma often expresses itself through disrupted sleep patterns. In older adults, this can look like waking up gasping for air, feeling phantom pains, or experiencing night sweats without any clear medical reason. It's as if the body, in the vulnerable stillness of sleep, finally dares to scream what the conscious mind has been too polite, too strong, or too afraid to say. And yet, there's hope woven into all of this, because the same process that once buried those memories can now be used to gently unearth and heal them through mindful practices, guided reflection, and a willingness to listen to the whispers of our own hearts. We can slowly teach the mind and body to find peace again, even in the deepest hours of the night. Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll explore not only why this healing is possible, but also how you can begin tonight, gently, without fear, without shame, to reclaim the deep, restful sleep you deserve after a lifetime of caring so much. I'll meet you there, just a few heartbeats away, somewhere deep inside us. A quiet truth begins to stir. Healing is not about erasing what happened. It's about finally allowing ourselves to acknowledge it, to breathe through it, and to reclaim the pieces of ourselves that were frozen in those forgotten moments. If you're still with me, it means a part of you is ready, even if it feels uncertain, even if it feels fragile, and that's more than enough. Healing doesn't demand bold leaps. It starts with the smallest, most tender steps. The first step to reclaiming restful sleep after 60 is learning the art of listening inward. For so long, many of us have been taught to listen outward, to expectations, to responsibilities, to the needs of others. But when night falls and the world grows quiet, it's our own heart that begins to speak. And if you've been waking up restless, instead of fighting it, what if you simply paused and asked, "What am I feeling right now?" No judgment, no rushing to fix, just listening. You might be surprised by what surfaces: a memory you hadn't thought about in decades, a sadness you never properly grieved, a small, persistent longing that never found its voice. In the act of listening without judgment, we loosen the grip these hidden emotions have over our bodies, and little by little, the body learns it doesn't have to stay on guard anymore. Sleep, that once fleeing visitor, starts finding its way back. If you find this idea soothing, if it stirs a sense of possibility inside you, please take a moment to share this video with someone you care about. Healing often begins when we realize we don't have to walk the journey alone. Another powerful step is rewriting the nightly script. As we talked about earlier, many restless nights are fueled by old subconscious patterns, worries, regrets, unspoken fears playing on an endless loop. But the beautiful thing about the mind is, it can learn new songs before you drift off to sleep. Try a simple practice. Instead of replaying the day's frustrations or yesterday's mistakes, gently direct your thoughts toward memories of safety, warmth, or simple joys. Maybe it's the feeling of your mother's hands when you were a child, the scent of a favorite meal, the way the sunlight once danced on a lake you loved. These aren't just happy thoughts. They are powerful anchors. They tell the body, it is safe to rest now. At first, it might feel awkward. Old habits resist change. But with gentle persistence, you're teaching your mind a new bedtime story, one written not in fear, but in peace. And over time, your sleep will begin to mirror that change. If you're still with me, I want you to know, this isn't just theory, it's a living, breathing possibility. I've seen people who spent decades battling restless nights finally find the rest they thought was lost forever. And it didn't come from more pills, more rigid routines, or trying harder. It came from softening, from listening, from choosing compassion over judgment, night after night. And there's one more truth you deserve to hear. Suppressed memories lose their power when they are met with understanding instead of fear. Every time you greet a painful memory with a whisper of kindness, every time you allow yourself to feel without running away, you reclaim a piece of your own soul, and the nights grow gentler. In the next part, we will explore a few simple, beautiful nighttime rituals you can begin tonight. Rituals that don't erase the past, but weave it gently into a new tapestry of peace, strength, and self-love. Stay with me. The journey is just beginning, and you are exactly where you need to be. In the stillness of the night, small rituals can become powerful bridges that carry us from restless wandering to the tender shores of true rest. And the beauty is, you don't need grand ceremonies or complicated routines. Healing often hides inside the simplest acts, performed with presence and care. One of the most powerful nighttime rituals you can begin is the gentle closing ritual. Every evening, before you slip beneath the covers, take a few moments to honor the day, not by judging it, not by labeling it as good or bad, but simply by acknowledging that you lived it. Breathe deeply and whisper softly to yourself, "Today is complete. I have done enough. I am enough." This small act helps signal to your mind that it can release its grip, that the mistakes, the worries, the unfinished business of life do not have to travel with you into your dreams. It's like setting down a heavy suitcase at the door before stepping into a warm home. Over time, this ritual teaches your heart to embrace each night not as an unfinished burden, but as a gift. If you're still following this journey, it shows the courage within you to try something new. Even if it feels unfamiliar at first, please consider sharing this message with a friend who might also need to hear that it's not too late to build new rituals of peace. Another beautiful ritual is the memory blessing. Instead of fearing the memories that rise up at night, what if you gently bless them? When an old sadness surfaces or a regret drifts through your mind as you're falling asleep, try whispering to it, "Thank you for visiting. I honor you. And now, you may rest too." This may sound unusual, but memories, even painful ones, carry pieces of our story. They don't need to be erased. They need to be acknowledged and lovingly set free. When you offer gratitude to a memory, you shift your relationship with it. It stops being a shadow that haunts and becomes a thread woven into the larger, richer tapestry of your life. At first, you may feel resistance. Your mind might say, "This is silly," or "What's the point?" That's natural. But remember, suppressed memories gain their power through silence and avoidance. They lose it through acknowledgement and tenderness. Like a child who stops crying when someone finally listens. Your heart responds to this quiet honoring with a deep, wordless relief. If you're feeling even a small flicker of hope stirring within you as you imagine these rituals, trust it. Healing begins in moments exactly like this. Small, humble, but full of quiet power. And there's one more nighttime gift you can offer yourself: the kindness vow. As you rest your head on the pillow, make a simple promise that no matter what memories come, no matter what feelings stir, you will meet yourself with kindness. No judgment, no criticism, just the simple vow to be your own gentle companion through the darkness. You might even say it out loud. "Tonight, I am safe. Tonight, I am loved. Tonight, I will meet myself with kindness." Words have power. Spoken softly in the night, they become seeds planted deep in the soul. And in time, those seeds blossom into nights filled not with battles and resistance, but with surrender, peace, and healing. Stay with me, because in the next part, we will walk together through the gentle morning practices that complete the healing cycle. Practices that ensure each new day begins not with the heavy weight of the past, but with lightness, purpose, and renewed joy. The night has its magic, but morning, too, holds its promises. Let's discover them together. As the first light of morning peeks through your window, a new opportunity quietly awaits, a chance to continue the healing that began during the night. You see, true rest isn't just about what happens while we sleep. It's about how we greet the new day, how we choose to carry ourselves forward from the fragile, open place that sleep leaves us in. Morning rituals, just like evening ones, don't have to be grand or complicated. In fact, the most powerful ones are often the gentlest, woven seamlessly into the rhythm of waking life. One beautiful morning ritual is the conscious awakening. Before your feet even touch the floor, take a moment to simply be. Feel the softness of the sheets. Listen to the early sounds around you, the birds, the hum of the world waking up. Place a hand over your heart and whisper, "I am here, I am alive. Today is a new beginning." This small, sacred pause honors the miracle of waking. It tells your body and spirit, you are safe, you are welcome in this day, and it sets a tone of gentleness that can echo through every hour that follows. If you're feeling moved by these simple ideas, if you sense a quiet yes stirring inside you, please take a moment to share this video with someone dear. Healing ripples outward in ways we often can't even see. Another healing morning habit is the gratitude breath. As you sit up and take your first few deep breaths of the day, consciously name 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. In fact, it's better if they are small and real. The warmth of your blanket, the scent of fresh air through the window, the simple fact that your heart continues to beat, carrying you faithfully into another dawn. Gratitude shifts the chemistry of the brain. It soothes the nervous system. It reminds the heart that despite all its scars, there is still so much worth waking up for. You might find that on some mornings, gratitude comes easily, like birdsong. On other mornings, it may feel harder, like reaching through mist. That's okay. The power is not in the ease, it's in the practice. Every time you choose gratitude, even imperfectly, you are strengthening a bridge back to joy. And perhaps the most tender morning ritual of all is the forgiving start. If the night brought troubled dreams or restless hours, don't carry that heaviness into your new day. Forgive the night. Forgive yourself. Begin again. You might say softly, "Whatever the night held, it is over now. I choose to step into this day with lightness and hope." So often, we wake up already burdened, weighing ourselves down with yesterday's fears, today's worries, tomorrow's unknowns. But you have the power to choose a different beginning, not by forcing positivity, but by inviting gentleness. If you are still here, still listening, it means a deep part of you already knows. Healing isn't a destination. It's a daily practice, 1,000 small choices to meet yourself with love. In the next part, we will explore how suppressed memories, once acknowledged and gently healed, can transform from sources of pain into surprising wells of wisdom and strength, gifts you can carry proudly into the beautiful chapters still ahead. Stay close. The journey is unfolding, and it holds more light than you may yet imagine. Somewhere along this quiet, brave journey of healing, a remarkable shift begins to happen. What once felt like a burden too heavy to carry, the suppressed memories, the restless nights, the old wounds, starts to feel different, not erased, not forgotten, but transformed. You see, every memory you have, even the painful ones, holds a piece of your strength. The very fact that you survived the experiences you once buried speaks to a resilience deeper than words. And when you allow yourself to meet those memories with compassion rather than fear, they can become powerful wells of wisdom, sources of insight, empathy, and quiet courage that no one can ever take away. If you're still here, if you're still breathing through this journey with me, please know you are already doing something extraordinary. Healing is not loud. It's not dramatic. It's the soft, stubborn refusal to keep carrying the weight of the past in silence. One way that suppressed memories can become strength is through the gift of perspective. Painful memories, once softened by understanding, offer a kind of vision that sees beyond surface appearances. You can recognize the silent grief behind a stranger's smile. You can hear the fatigue hidden in a loved one's words. You can offer kindness not because you should, but because you know what it means to carry invisible battles. This kind of wisdom isn't taught in schools. It is earned, quietly and often painfully, by those who have walked through their own dark valleys and emerged still willing to love. If you're feeling even the faintest flicker of pride right now, Good. You deserve to. Please share this message if you know someone else who needs to be reminded that their story, however complicated, is a source of honor, not shame. Another way suppressed memories become a source of strength is through resilience. When you face the emotions you once hid from, when you listen to the parts of yourself you once silenced, you grow a kind of inner rootedness. Life's storms may still shake you, but they no longer uproot you. You know your own depth. You trust that you can survive the night and greet the morning, and perhaps most beautifully, these once buried pieces of your past can become bridges of connection when you speak, even softly, even imperfectly, about your true experiences. You give others permission to do the same. In a world that often rewards hiding and pretending, your honesty becomes a lighthouse. You might never know all the lives your quiet courage touches, a grandchild who feels less alone, a friend who finds hope in your resilience, a stranger who realizes, because of your story, that healing is possible. If you're still listening, still feeling these truths settle into your heart, know that you're not just healing yourself, you're lighting a path for others, too. And as we draw closer to the end of this journey, I invite you to hold this one final truth close. Your nights may have once been filled with restlessness, your days with old burdens, but none of it was wasted. Every breath, every tear, every silent prayer whispered into the darkness has shaped a soul of extraordinary beauty and strength. Stay with me for just a little longer. In our closing part, we'll gather all these threads, the memories, the healing, the quiet victories, into a tapestry of hope and renewed purpose for the years still ahead. The story isn't over. In many ways, it is just beginning. And now, here we are. You've walked with me through the long corridors of memory, through the heavy nights and the tender mornings. You've listened with your heart, not just your ears. You've allowed yourself to imagine, maybe for the first time in a long time, that healing is still possible, that peace is not some distant dream, but something you can reach for right now, even with all that life has asked you to carry. If you have made it this far, you are already part of a rare and beautiful group, the ones who choose hope over resignation, the ones who believe that it's never too late to mend the quiet fractures within. So what comes next? First, remember this. Your restless nights were never a sign of weakness. They were messages, whispers from the deepest parts of you, asking not to be forgotten. And now that you have heard them, truly heard them, the story can change. You have the tools now. Gentle evening rituals to ease you into sleep, morning practices to cradle your waking moments in gratitude and hope, a new relationship with your memories, not as chains that bind you, but as roots that anchor you in wisdom. You know now that every breath you take into a new day is a quiet act of courage, that every time you choose kindness over self-criticism, you are building a new legacy, one not defined by old pain, but by renewed purpose. And most importantly, you are never alone on this path. Even on nights when the old restlessness stirs, even on mornings when hope feels heavy, there is a whole silent brotherhood and sisterhood of souls walking with you, choosing light again and again, even when it would be easier to slip into darkness. If you have found comfort, understanding, or strength in this journey, I ask you, share it. Not just this video, but the spirit of it. Share your compassion. Share your willingness to heal. Share your new peace in whatever small, quiet ways feel right to you. Because healing, at its heart, is never just about ourselves. It's a ripple, a light passed from hand to trembling hand, a reminder, in a world too often filled with noise and fear, that gentleness still matters, that hope is still alive. You have not just survived, you have grown, you have deepened, you have become someone even more extraordinary than you were before. And as you close your eyes tonight, may you rest knowing the hidden link between your past and your restless nights has been found, and in its place, a bridge has been built, leading you back to yourself, whole and luminous and utterly, beautifully alive. This is not the end. It is, in so many ways, a breathtaking new beginning. Thank you for walking this road with me. And until we meet again, sleep deeply, dream bravely, and wake each day knowing you are exactly where you need to be.